Hello. Welcome to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast, episode 76. I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who are we brought to you today by?
Duplicator spray paint. And man, is that stuff awful.
It really
It's so drippy.
really is.
Like, good news, I was explicitly using sandable primer, which means I've used 2 cans of it to probably be sanded to prepare the new old set of wheels I have going on the car.
Oh my
Therefore,
goodness.
I've been tire shopping furiously, and to get out from that for less than $500 remains difficult.
And
even the
500 for 4.
Yeah. Amount of balance and plus an alignment, so it's so I've got lots of eBay tables turning right now.
At least you don't have to buy 5 tires like I do.
Technically I will have by the end of it, or technically 6, since I have the full-size spare on that other wheel that I've been running on for 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
And also picked up the spare from Pull Apart that I'm sure I explained on the last podcast that almost got crushed while taking it out of the back of a Camry.
Yeah.
Because Pull Apart, it's $2 and no insurance policy going into there. But what an entertaining afternoon it was.
But fucking Pull Apart is just a magical place.
Yeah.
I love that place so much.
Also, the headrests I got out of that older Scion, they fit, but they're designed to go around the back seat and mash down.
Oh, yeah.
The rods are too long, so it only sits in, so it's still sitting high up. It's like, well, you're going on eBay, and I saw a previous auction of the same sort go for 6 or 7 times as much as I paid for them. So I'll be scalping those from here on out.
It is quite a problem on the CBG pod for the rods to be too long. Well, Steve, what are we drinking in honor of your failed headrest extravaganza?
A completely unrelated news, and Beer Quest, the magic of looking in the same places. Dogfish Head Imperial IPA 90-minute, which, assuming this is the same 90-minute, that's the beer that got me into IPAs.
It's a good one, and it's
weighing in at 9% ABV.
I was going to say, so please
I'm
explain
I'm going to drink till this foot cramp goes away. Goodness.
Tell the people what the nomenclature or numeric of the 60, 90, 120, the minutes.
Something about the hops are added to the beer mix for 60, 90, or 120 minutes. And of those, the 60 is totally okay. The 75 I found really underwhelming since it has some sort of maple flavor to it, and that just didn't mesh well.
Maple IPA...
Pick one. Do you want sweet beer or happy beer? The mergers thereof beyond citrus don't seem to work.
No, not usually. So we got the Dogfish Head, and then we got also. Yeah, I don't trust your eyesight from that far away.
I'm starting to trust mine less and less anyway. The George Dickel Sour Mash Whiskey, hand-selected barrel, aged 19 years, number 119.
It's a good one. It was $60. Not terribly.
Brought to you by the same people as Guinness, Diageo.
Diageo, and Drunko was his name. Well, it tasted like cookies and ribs.
Interesting. I just had a $5 sushi on the way here.
$5 sushi. This is really, really excellent. So, cheers. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very smooth. I hate to be Chris Stapleton, but it is as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. But it is Tennessee whiskey.
So there's a reason that's a thing.
Have you heard that song?
No.
Stapleton's got soul for a big white country boy. Like, it's really like we'll listen to it after. But actually, I was skeptical when I saw it and I listened. I was like, oh, okay. That one's good, and then Sometimes I Cry is a good one.
Well, previously he had been Chris Avesdiboten.
But they closed. Is there any the Office Max is
Office Max? I think Office Depot merged in with them because it's the same name, and they joined Ross in the move across J.W. Clay in reopening across the street for themselves.
Yeah.
I think the only thing still sitting in that old shopping center is the Applebee's now.
Oh, Jesus. What a...
And then across the pond is still hopping since that's closer to the tracks and has all the more fun stuff. You know, the wine vault and Mexican joint.
Mm-hmm.
Lang Van Kick the Bucket. Zapatas, yes.
Zapatas is good. Also means shoes, which is a weird name for a Mexican joint, but...
named for a general shoe, then.
I've always had really good food and pretty good service at Zapata's. I always liked that place pretty good, but seeing as how if I go to university, I usually go to one place.
Yeah.
Sorry about playing footsie with you.
It's all right. I'm trying to stretch his foot out because I think my big toe is going to fall off.
Well,
it's been a common problem.
I got a spare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Walt.
So I fixed the exhaust on the Jeep. I took it off because it was really close. All right, so long story short, where the exhaust hanger is on the aftermarket one kind of hung down, and it was kind of hitting against one of the mounting point, the chassis and everything. And I had a fuel hose wrapped around it so that if it hit...
not an active fuel hose. This is a buffer. Oh, it's like,
buffer.
This is a terrible idea.
Who needs gasoline? I'll just foot pedal my 4,200-pound SUV. So I put that on there and then zip tied it around so that if it hits, then it'll buffer it and it won't vibrate the cabin to death. Well, I crawled up underneath there and the rubber was already eaten through from hitting that spot too much. So I took the exhaust off, which in the Wrangler is one bolt and two hangers on the rear. So it took all of 5 minutes to get off.
It's just a matter of everything mounted to itself that you don't want that hanging off the back of the engine because you're going to have much bigger problems.
Although every now and then you'll see cars that do that, and you're like, God, I know this is happening, but I digress. You can lead that horse to water, something.
No, it's making sparks. Therefore, I now have an electric car.
And not a Chevy Sparks. So... went up there, the Dremel.
I almost tipped one today. That was fun.
Oh, nice. More on that later. I went up there with the Dremel and ground away the spot, and I was like, that's probably good enough. It wasn't. It still hit. So then I went back, and I got 8 worm clips, and I got more of my leftover fuel hose, and I put it on each side of where the exhaust hanger is. So this is the rubber hanger. The exhaust... hanger goes through here, and I put rubber on each side and then worm clipped them so it couldn't move.
So the fuel hose is at least able to withstand the heat of the exhaust too?
The heat, yes.
Okay.
The worm clips also, yes. What I'm worried about with the worm clips is eventually water is going to rust them out.
Okay.
But if it fixes that problem for a year for $5, I can crawl back up underneath there with my drill and put new ones on. So
you can get galvanized worm clips.
Oh, stainless steel. I mean, could do that. They'd probably be more expensive, but no, it's one of those things nobody's ever going to see, and unless you knew to look for it, you wouldn't even.
But I assume it's this irritating process that if you could find a better material to do it that one time.
Well, I could take it to an exhaust shop and they could modify. But the thing is it $100 bothering me, or is it $5 a year bothering me? So if I have it 20 years, I will. I'll make the difference. Still have this annoying buzz in the driver's side door panel, just from the exhaust being loud, and the drone goes through there. So I'm either going to dynamite it, or I'm just going to take that resonator and put it back in, and actually have a quieter car. Who is this guy you're sitting in front of? I'm probably not going to do that. Probably going to go the dynamite route first. But any new car shenanigans with you?
Just been tire shopping.
Which ones are you looking at?
Frankly, whatever's cheap. I like the Maxxis Bravos that I had on the Vibe at the end of its tenure.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could have gotten away with just pulling the tires off that car and then putting on this one, that would have been awesome. They might have been a little tall for it. But probably looking to up the size from a 225 45 17 to probably a 235 45 17. Just make something a little bit wider since I'm going with a 7.5 instead of a 7-inch wide tire wheel.
Yeah, and the aspect ratio it'll sit it up a little bit higher.
It would be negligibly higher. And the guy said he's running 245 45s on it without issue, and
that's fair.
Apparently the speedometer runs a little low anyway, which then would probably run lower with a bigger tire. And with more rubber, you're less likely to need the traction control that may be thrown off in the process. Like, well, this is my first car with traction control. What's it going to do? Like, toast the front end? It doesn't have enough power for that.
I actually got mine to turn on the other day for the first time.
Hey.
It had never turned on in it, and it was dry pavement too, but I just fucking goosed it like a motherfucker, and it just, and then it kicked in.
Yes, I'm wrong wheel drive, but it's only 3,000 pounds, so when it's very wet out, it's still fun. Like the button's right next to the cup holder, between the cup holder and the shifter. It's like click. It's one button on and off. None of this newfangled stuff. Like the traction control is only going to be mostly off.
Yeah, mine's a button too. I hate it's like you have to call in a shaman and all this other shit to get the traction control off. Did you see? Do you remember when Clarkson did the? I think it was the McLaren. He goes, how do you turn the traction control off? He's like, well, you have to go in this series. And he's like, why don't you just make it a button? And they go, why would you want to turn the traction control off? He goes, because it's fun. He said, and you could see it look on their face like, fun? What is fun?
Well, I'm sure you've heard Matt Farah talk about certain very powerful cars, once the traction control is off, that simply become dangerous.
Yeah, but
that's not gonna be the case with our new vehicles. These will not be fast enough to be dangerous.
Yours will spin tires much easier than the Jeep will, though. Much easier, because, well, it's under half the power, but it's also way lighter.
This may be dead middle of the cars I've had weight-wise.
Well, the heaviest has to be the big red, right?
Yeah, and even that was 3,500 since it's a 4-cylinder two-wheel drive.
That's insane. That's actually pretty light for that. But then the Volvo, I'd say the Volvo would have been pretty heavy too.
I think both Volvos were 2,800 pounds.
28?
Yeah.
I forget that cars back then were,
yes, it's a Volvo, but it's still something that was, designed in the 60s or the 80s.
Mm-hmm. And looks the part, but
yeah.
We've had that discussion before. I miss cars that were just, they didn't have to be everything to everybody, which is why the Wrangler's so popular. And yet,
and that's why the Scion is depreciating like a bag of rocks. Like the ones sub 10 grand are much easier to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, who else are we brought to us today by?
I don't know.
An $8,400 Scion IM in Las Vegas.
Ooh.
With how many miles on it?
Is it higher or lower than I think it would be?
Higher.
$160.
Higher.
$180.
Higher.
$200.
Higher.
I like where this is going. $225.
You're really close.
$230.
$229. $8,400 for my car with 4 times the miles of what I bought mine with.
That's right. Yours had like
57.
Good
it was
Lord.
57, 273.
I had that 57 on the S2000 when I bought it. Please don't do what I did to mine a year into your ownership of it.
I think that's going to be a little more difficult.
Well, it is December.
And I do need tires. Like, I have, so I have the one newer old stock tire and the better of these surviving tires on the other end, and the 2 back tires are about bald.
Are they all matching?
3 out of 4.
That's better than the Meatloaf ratio.
And upon once again, I have a 2-wheel drive car. It's like, but I'm changing the wheels, so I have to do everything.
Really?
Which was such the issue with the Vibe that soon before getting changing the wheels, like smoked one of the 18-inch tires, so still have a set of 5 18s with 1 good tire in the mix.
None of the rest of them have tires?
They still have tires,
Okay.
but they're varying degrees of defeated.
Because that would be beyond hilarious to sell that on Craigslist. It's a set of 5 wheels with 1 tire. Do with it what you must.
I'd assume just sell it with the tires. You know, you go spend your disposal fee points elsewhere. It's like, hey, if anybody wants a set of 18-inch NKs, I think 2 center caps exist. $200 and it's yours.
I mean,
I'll list it on FaceBase or Cracklist for $300 and see what happens. Maybe nothing.
I've got mine for $250 for all 5, and they're in perfect shape. No bites. I had them for $500 because I wanted to get out what I bought the Rubicon with.
Sure.
Then I went to $400. Then I went to straight to $250. I'm like, I want them out of the garage, and nobody, not one fucking person. $50 a wheel for those.
Guessing Pull Apart would offer you $50 for the set tops.
Probably, and I don't really. They're taking up space, but they don't. Yeah, they don't take a bath on that bad.
It ain't that precious.
No, it's really not. Has nothing to do with a black lady who sings. Well, I forgot how good the 90-minute was, and can't remember last time I had it in bottle. Usually,
it's typically been draft. Usually, it's something that'll be on top of the saucer, and you just have to make its round every time.
I think 120 was on there once.
That sounds right.
And much like High Life was on there once.
As well as the 75 that was here today, gone today, and it's like, not their best effort.
No, and I haven't actually seen the 75 there in a while. I do remember they had Heineken on draft one time. I was like, huh?
Yeah, that's quintessential old school fancy bottled beer.
And it was the only beer that I can think of I liked in the bottle better than draft. On draft, it just had a weird fucking taste. And then the bottle was actually not bad.
I figure once you're going that direction, just get a Carlsberg instead.
Yeah, but over here it's called Hardee's. Oh, Carlsberg, sorry. Steve Ray, I got some interesting news for you today. It's car news and alcohol news.
Oh, my.
So first up...
who got arrested for DUI?
Nobody yet. Nobody we know yet. You know where Lake Waccamaw is?
South Carolina?
It's North Carolina, but it's like right outside of...
they got all the pottery shops here, right?
I think so. I think so. But I think it's right past... oh, God damn it. It's those 2 L towns on the way to Wilmington. There's Laurinburg and... Lumberton. It's out that way. Population's like 1,100 or so. A Lake Waccamaw... man was arrested in the early morning this morning for stealing a case of Bud Light from a convenience store. He was caught. When the police were questioned about the incident, this is true. They responded with, "This is very concerning, as Bud Light is clearly not a breakfast beer." So it's clear that the people of the task force of Waccamaw has a sense of humor. I was so happy about that. I've passed through there on the way to the beach a couple times, but never actually stopped there. And I've only stopped in Lumberton to eat.
The most entertaining town name on the way to Wilmington is Cerro Gordo.
Something fat.
Fat Hill.
Oh. Cerro is hill in Spanish. Okay. That is interesting.
I've always been fascinated by that town name.
Where is it, off 74?
It's off 74, like somewhere about an hour from the coast.
I need to look this up, actually. Where do you live? Oh,
Fat Hill.
Fat Hill.
Fat Hill, Mint Hill. There's also a town of Pink Hill. I'm only aware of that from looking up like those city license plates on eBay.
Yeah.
Which are difficult to come by and expensive there. But look that up. It's somewhere way out east.
Am I dreaming that there's somewhere called Mars Hill?
That is outside of Asheville.
Okay. I knew it had to have been.
Yep.
Like some...
Yeah.
Which side? Like on 26?
North. Near Madison. The city, not the county. No, vice versa. No, it's Madison County. Yeah, because Madison, the city is north of Greensboro.
Are there any bridges there?
I actually got a really pretty picture there. When I got that, it was a family reunion 5 years ago when I got some cool reflection shots. So like the trees, and then you can barely see the water line, and then trees look the same.
Oh, nice. I've never actually been to a family reunion. Mostly because everybody in my family hates each other.
My dad's cousins try to make it an annual thing, and the last one I made it to was 3 years ago.
Semi-annual.
Well, I had a pretty decent streak going, and I was the only one of my siblings that would make it.
That doesn't knowing your three siblings. Out of the three of you, I would say you were probably the more. Are you the more outgoing of all the three Nixes?
Everybody's outgoing nowadays.
Well,
and even in their confined circles nowadays, but everyone's surviving each other, and it appears that we survived Thanksgiving, so that was nice.
Okay, good.
Even after my death scare a week and a half ago, that I woke up short of breath, coughing a bunch, sneezing a bunch, just symptoms. Freaking out a bunch, like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? Managed to get a test done at 2:30 that afternoon to make the longest 44 hours ever that came back negative.
Yep, thank goodness.
And still feel okay thereafter. Everyone's fine. Kaylin's fine. After having gone to Greensboro, her folks don't want to see us till about the 12th. Since they've been very confined and with various mid to late 60s health issues, wish not to exacerbate that.
Fair. I was just about to ask you how old they were, but when
you told me a year apart from one another.
When you told me you were getting tested, and I told Brian, I was like, "Hey Brian, Steve got tested." I was like, but he didn't seem symptomatic, so I just wanted you to know. I'll let you know if when he tested. He said, "Yeah, we weren't near each other." I was like, "Yep, that's fine." And I told him, "Yeah, he was negative." I said, part of me was like relieved that I didn't give it to you. But I was like, at this point,
it's like it's been long enough,
statute
and I've seen you, and like that was my immediate thought. Like, that's not how it's supposed to work.
That's not immediate. Like, that would just be like the word. Like, if I was just carrying it all the fucking time.
That was just the magic of having pulled an incredibly long week. It's just body had a nice little freak out.
The human body is both resilient and silly at the same time, because sometimes if you don't get enough rest, you just start having these weird fucking symptoms. So
hi.
Well, Steve, moving on, VBGB is closing now until January 31st due to COVID.
I saw something about 820 saying they were going to remain closed for that same length of time.
I haven't heard about that, but I mean, honestly, it doesn't surprise me.
Given that at least VBGB had the generous outdoor space, 820, the neighboring bar, didn't.
No. And VBGB, most of the time, people they were out and about, but it wasn't. Well, the last couple times I was there, it wasn't sardined in there, and people weren't like.
Yeah, I hadn't. Well, I've been there in 19. Used to do a lot of trivia there, but it's an ample amount of room, and if they wound up having to even restrict that, cut it in half or quarter it, you could still have a decent amount of traffic.
Yeah, we were about to go there the other night. I hung out with Sean, Karin, Mac, and Jelani was in town.
Oh, cool.
Jelani's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And all their friends named Aaron, another black dude.
That doesn't ring a bell.
He was cool as fuck too, and I was trying to set him up with Brittany Cosby, and I was like, he was like, I'm looking actually for a girl to have fun and be with, not just on Tinder just fucking everything. I was like, well, I got a single friend. I showed him a picture. He's like, yeah, hook me up with that mermaid. So I try. I've been trying my best, but you know what they say about matchmaking. It's not easy.
Twist the fire starter.
I mean, nobody set me and Emily up, but let's be honest. I wouldn't have put us together. And yet we're here 10 years later. Moving on, a Cleveland, Ohio man ordered one beer.
Speaking of,
yes.
Through the magic of online dating, actually had encountered Kaylin's sister before she and I met.
And then another one pops up. You're like, wait a second.
It was when we first met. Like, you look really familiar. It was a Tinder match that went nowhere. Do you know? Wait, most of them did.
Yeah. Do you know what I tell people when when I'm out playing a show or something, and they go, "It's like, where are you guys from?" Tell them, it's like, "You look familiar." I'm like, "I do porn. Where did you see me?" Always makes them laugh. So a Cleveland, Ohio man ordered one beer and then found out the bar was closing after that day due to COVID, and he tipped them $3,000. salute to you, good man, but am I just not generous, or does that just go beyond generosity?
That is beyond generosity. I don't have $3,000 to do that with. But no, best I can do is 50% tips,
which honestly would be appreciated by pretty much anybody. But I was like, Jesus Christ, $3,000 tip. I hope that I don't know what place it was, but I hope that when they got that, they pulled it and took care of everybody, except that one asshole waitress that just never fucking does anything. Foster's is going to be reintroduced in Australia because it was there, but not really. And now that's actually going to be like re-released and reintroduced in Australia, and they're going to like go all in to try to sell.
Reformulated? Has it been made good?
I didn't say that.
Last I was at Outback, they weren't even serving Foster's. If you want an Australian beer, you could get Cooper's. Cooper's is good.
Cooper's tastes like a fucking like Yingling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
it's completely decent, but because it's imported, it costs double.
hanging
for all
Mr.
of my
Cooper's.
or maybe I was gonna set of Cooper tires.
Those aren't bad tires.
Actually, the best oddball ones that I may get are the Barum Braviuses. Where are they made?
It sounds German.
More so one of the other places they attempted to annex.
Poland?
Go south.
Oh, attempted to annex, or actually annexed.
My history's not that good, but you're really close.
They actually annexed parts of the Czech Republic. Okay.
Yeah, Czech tires.
It was the Rhineland was part where Czech Republic was, I believe. I'm not going to look that up because in my mind I am right. Our fill-in this week, she's an assistant manager. Her name is Bridget, and she is from Hamburg,
Deutschland.
Yes, she is. So I say, Guten Morgen, Frau. She said, not bad, good morning. She's very German. She's very direct. There's never any animosity, but she's just a very direct person, and I kind of appreciate it, actually. She's got 2 bull mastiffs at home. Nobody's gonna fuck with her. I don't think she's married. I'm not sure what she's even doing over here. I'm not sure why you would move to the U.S. from Germany.
And why you'd be working for Food Line instead of Aldi or Lidl.
That too.
These things do not need to make sense.
Yeah. But I've had Foster's.
Guten Tag, Fräulein. Wo ist der Bier?
See, I've had Foster's a couple times and completely
Never liked
underwhelmed
it.
every time.
I couldn't tell you if it was blue can or green can, but
I tried the blue.
It's big and it's terrible.
Yep, you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. Oh, how much more of this do I have to drink?
Yeah, well, back over 4th of July, Canada Day, I picked up Labatt Blue. I was quickly reminded how bad that is.
Yes, it
should have gotten Moosehead instead.
It's bad,
or better yet, Molson Triple X. Haven't seen that in a while.
Jesus Christ,
that was one of the early 7% beers. I call that one the bottled Canadian porn.
Rule 34, buddy.
The holes are too small. Much like the 1065 ad back in the day. We tried phone sex, but the holes are too small.
I like that. I like the how much moral bankruptcy and perversion must we the people endure? That was from Family Guy, though. And a lawsuit has been filed against Heineken Group for brewing Tecate brands because they're marketing it as a Mexican beer, and it's all brewed in Holland. Now that they've taken over Tecate,
wow,
they brew Tecate in Holland, and they're marketing Tecate as a Mexican beer. It has a Mexican name.
Mm-hmm.
It was brewed in Mexico. Now,
is that why it got more expensive?
Probably.
Because I think it's $10 or $11 for a 12-pack now. And
yeah.
for that ransom, I'd assume just get my 12 ounces of Narragansetts, which I found. Now it tastes more like the 16s, only less of it.
I'd get a suitcase of High Life for $13.99 before I got a 12-pack of Tecate.
You do that, and I'll stick to my Rolling Rocks. Nah, I'm digging my Gansets. Got to rep the beer from Jaws.
Did I tell you about the time Toby and I were at Bloom and they had 30-pack cubes of High Life and they were $10?
It was like one of the few times you see a quantity greater than 24. For a while, Costco had a house brand light beer that was, I think, a 48-pack for $20.
That's amazing.
It might as well have been rebranded Busch Light.
Yikes.
Yeah, so my brother was a big fan of it. Since then, he's drinking better.
Yeah, that's good. But it was $10 for a 30-pack, so not bad. So we bought 3 of them. This was before the craft beer boom. So, I mean, if you went to, the fanciest thing you could get was
your Heineken.
St. Pauli Girl, you know, stuff like that. So we drank.
Or the occasional Sam Adams since they've been around.
Mm-hmm. You know how long it takes to drink 90 fucking beers? A while. It took us a while. But
that'd be a solid 2 weeks for me.
Well, probably me now, but then I didn't drink every day. Now I drink every day. So every day I go into work, I'm like, you know what? I'm taking the day off. I'm not going to drink anything, all this and that. And I work my shift and I get home and I go, can't fucking wait until it's like 6 o'clock. So sometimes I don't even wait till 6.
Or now just dark.
So 3:30.
That too.
That's amazing that they brew Tecate in Holland now. Can you imagine the look on the Dutch people's faces and they have to put this like Mexican label and everything? I've never even seen a Mexican before. If you're in Holland, I mean, they're not jumping.
Best they can do is Spain proper.
Yeah, and they're way different. Even the dialect of Spanish is different. So a Minnesota couple have now traded in their...
Couple of what?
Couple of wild and crazy guys. Actually, it's a man and woman.
Actually, those were supposed to be checks, weren't they?
I'll check into it. So, Minnesota couple. A Minnesota.
The municipal Minnesotans.
Yes. A Minnesota couple have traded in their 2014 Mitsubishi Mirage that with 414,000 miles for a brand new 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage. Why would you do that? Because it's probably the same car, A, and B, see how many more miles you can get out of it. Unless they just like really gave them a good deal. But they were a medical...
That is a car the size of this table.
And with as many safety features.
You could get one with a 3-cylinder.
I think
and
most of them were 3-cylinder.
Some were 4s, but that and the Versa have been going neck and neck for the cheapest new car sold stateside.
Yep.
The Mirage actually makes a Versa a pleasant place to be, and that's saying a lot.
Well, I know that's right, but I would argue that the Versa is the worst car because Nissan should know better because they can build better cars, and now Mitsubishi can't.
Yeah.
So
that said, I do like the look of an Outlander Sport.
It's not a bad looking car. It's a little bit different than your plebeian, ballless crossover. By the way, my in-laws have now traded the Accord. They sold the Accord private party. Her dad's Accord that said ski on the back of it. So his Accord's gone.
The only thing that I remember is the van and the Fiata.
Well, the Fiata's still in the stable. The van's been long gone.
Busted odometer and all.
A busted odometer and the transmission went out, and it just cost more to put a new transmission in it.
Well, any V6 Honda.
Mm-hmm. If it were rear-wheel drive, that would be one thing. But so they sold the Accord, and now they're basically a one-car family. I know they have the Fiata, but they don't drive that. So they traded the CR-V in for a
Acura RDX.
Think same vehicle, but badged down one. It's
an HRV?
Another CRV,
okay.
A 2021 CRV.
That's not a bad spot to be. Did you see the Savage Geese video on the CRV? It's like, guys have been wanting me to drive one of these for such a long time. No. Going to Greensboro, we took Kalen's 2016 CRV.
Mm-hmm.
This is a totally capable automobile, and no, I do not want one of my own. I have the capacity to borrow this thing during tire troubles and whatnot. It came in handy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want one of those for my own.
They are great cars, but like it just like for all the Jeep's quirks and like little rattles here and there and everything, it just has character and it has grit and there's something there. All your CUVs, if you drove them blindfolded, would you know the difference in any of them?
Hi, that's my day at work. Which was really funny when we had a Jeep Compass, a Jeep Renegade, a Jeep Patriot.
Oh, Lord.
Back to back to back. Like all the baby Jeeps in a row, and they were all black. It was really funny having that sequence of the little subtle differences here and there. It's like, it's not a Grand Cherokee. It's not a Wrangler. Like, these do not matter.
They are like Jeep's Yugos. Like, they know they're going to sell a ton of them, but nobody... there's a reason you don't see...
Funny you mentioned that. The Yugo being, what I recall, was an Italian design initially. Mm-hmm. Where's the Renegade built?
Italy.
Yes. I either amaze or annoy my coworkers with these little tidbits throughout the day. Probably the strangest one I saw, though, was a Toyota Yaris built where?
Mexico.
No.
Canada?
No. You're getting warmer. Language-wise, anyway.
France?
Oui.
I didn't know that. What vintage?
14, 15. So one of the still Toyota branded one, like Toyota built ones.
Yeah.
But out of France, not Japan.
Does Peugeot or Renault have a comparable car that they just kind of swapped badges with and powertrains?
I'm unaware of that being a thing because the later Yaris is the Mazda 2 sold here.
That's right. It's Mazda. Not okay.
Which in turn makes it a fine car, but sedan only.
The French do,
which is real funny seeing all the Mazda switchgear in this Toyota or Scion branded thing that was sold as the Scion IA for 15 and 16, then the Toyota Yaris IA for a couple more years. Because at the time you had the Mazda Yaris sedan, but the Toyota Yaris hatchback.
The French are really good at some things. The cooking, the wine, the beautiful language, the sweet lovemaking. Cars...
There's a reason they've not been sold here since the early 90s.
Yeah.
Which was also the same reason that Maserati and Alfa had departed for a while, and hey, they're back, and hey, they're lovely, and hey, they're trouble.
Yeah, but they've got character. I mean, if you're gonna have one, if you lease a Giulia Quattrofoglio, you'd be hard pressed to have a prettier sedan. If I had to get another sedan, it'd either be a TLX or an Alfa. But can't do this in either of those now.
And the Accord sedan and the Mazda 6 have been the latest dominoes to fall.
Oh, no. The Accord's gone?
Yeah.
2021?
I think so.
God damn it. I understand why. But...
Yeah. No one's buying sedans. Therefore, no one's buying manual sedans.
No. God damn it, man. F.
And I think... all non-performance Civics are getting that same hatchet as well. So that the SI and the Type R will remain as such, but the plebeian Civic will be joining the ranks of the dead. I think the Fit may be as well.
The Fit makes all sense in the world to be a manual transmission. That's a fun little car. Mac's car, the Civic Sport, actually a really nice car on the inside. Like it's a really, really nice,
they're
good
quite
looking
nicely
car.
pointed.
Yeah,
it's not an SI or a Type R, so that is the least of the philosophy I have on the modern Civic, that the faster it goes, the uglier it gets.
Unless it's the 99 2000 Civic SI.
No. The from 16s and up.
Oh,
earlier, it was always totally okay looking.
Absolutely. So moving on to car-related things. Steve, which city in the United States has the worst stolen car rate per capita?
Compton.
Right coast, but wrong city. So it's the West. it's not anywhere you would ever think that car theft would be this big of a problem.
Portland.
Yes. Portland has the worst stolen car rate per capita in the United States. But it looks so hipstery, and you know what?
The origins of the state of Oregon get much darker when you read into it. Never mind the riots or whatever this year. Mm-hmm. Just the very nature of it. It's partly Idaho with a coastline.
Partly, yes. So if you're a beaver or a duck, personally, I think I'd rather be. What would you rather be, a beaver or a duck?
Neither. I would be attending Faber College, which was actually filmed at University of Oregon.
That's
so
the ducks.
Then, okay,
yeah,
so
Oregon
I guess
ducks.
I'll be a duck.
Oregon Ducks or the Oregon State Beavers.
Like, upon filming Animal House, they looked high and low for a college to allow them to film at.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I think Oregon was the only one that let them do it. To have this 1978 raucous comedy set in 1962. And that's approaching one of those movies you couldn't make the day because it's so damned non-PC and so fantastic.
I was going to say, it ages well in humor, but it doesn't age well in PC.
I'm only 13.
Yikes. And last but not least, Steve, this is near and dear to my heart. Rumors have circulated in the automotive industry that 2024 will be the 75th year of Honda Motor Company, and they will release another S2000.
Ooh.
The rumors are starting. The power plant will most likely be an up-tuned Civic Type R 2-liter 4-cylinder with a power figure of around 350 horsepower.
I guess
and offered with
turbo and manual.
Speed manual transmission. There's no renderings or anything yet, but it's on the rumor mill. And I went, And I showed that to Emily, and she went, And she goes, "You're not getting one, but And I said, "You have not met your husband lately, have you?"
Hey, you could be wrong.
I could be. You know, I'm not a big fan of convertibles, but that was one of the most fun cars that you'll ever drive.
I mean, seeing as you had the hardtop that saw its removal very few times, yes.
More often towards the end of its life cycle, which is
okay.
which is interesting. But the thing is, it better be better looking than the Z, because I like the way the Z looks, but I don't know, like now...
Well, which is funny because today we had a 370Z roll through and a Miata RF roll through.
RF's a good looking car.
I like the looks of that one. It's
great.
Still entirely too tiny, but the extra bit on the back of the roof is a good look.
I really, really like those.
Never mind my disdain for blind spots. Whoops.
I like the way the 370Z looks too, but it's a bit heavy. It's
and
very
oddly enough,
heavy.
they were both wrong transmission.
Yeah. Yuck. Why would you get... Never mind. A Miata's supposed to be... The Z I could see getting a paddle shift, but like the Miata's just...
No. Stick shift all the things.
I'm with you, but...
I found some imaginary cars the other day that are quite practical, thank you very much.
Okay.
A pick-em-up and a van. A 99 V4000 in Raleigh.
What?
For $4,000. Two-wheel drive, green, 130,000 miles.
You see, this is what would happen if you and I came into a lot of money. We
Just
wouldn't
buy
have...
weird shit.
We would be Doug DeMuro. Have you seen his new purchase?
The RS2.
I like that.
Oh.
I like that. But when he said how much he paid for it...
And he just got the new Land Rover to
God,
boot.
Jesus.
It's like, the kid's doing okay.
Well, I think that Cars and Bids money started coming in. Did you see how much he paid for that Audi?
No.
I like it. Not a fucking chance.
50 grand?
70. $70,000. $5,000.
That's gonna buy you a lot of those bedeviled VR6 GTIs I had back in the day too.
For $5,000 more, I found a 2014
so
Viper.
It'd be what, a 94, 95 model?
92.
Okay.
I think.
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw that pop up on the radar. I was like, but you just got the thing. It's like, I let Facebook do all the arguing for me. It's like, I'm aware of what happened, and it's in Electron Blue, and it's quite lovely,
Yes.
and
Because the original owner imported it from Japan to Canada after 15 years, because it's 15 up there.
yeah.
That owner had it
So it's been
for 10 years in Canada.
Then it's been babied instead of Canadian winters. Otherwise, that car wouldn't be here.
Right. Yeah, there's no rust or anything on it. So $70,000. So yeah, it's cool. But for $5,000 more, I found a 2014 Viper in striker green, that green color. I was like,
Was that?
Sorry,
is that
Wagon.
more bright green or dark green?
let's see. I think it's called striker green. It's bright. But
But it's not like it's going to be German police car green.
it's bright, but it's not puke bright green. It's that green.
okay.
That
That's one of the two colors I had in mind.
I like that. I like the color. But yeah, for almost the same price. The thing is, if you can afford a $70,000 car, you can afford a $75,000 car.
He's also already had a Viper.
He has.
It was the 90s,
GT,
the 97 blue with the white stripes.
He explained that he only buys cars in what the original press photo is. So if you look back, it's like, actually, that's true. So like the original press photo that came out of the GTS Viper was blue with white stripes.
And sorry, folks, yes, he sold the Stinger already. Like, that was a quick year he had
Stinger?
that car. The Stinger.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Kia Stinger.
Yeah, Stinger. I was just a singer. I was like, he
like,
doesn't have
he
$600,000.
Jesus. A super souped up 911 from way back whenever? No.
Is your RUF not fancy or fast enough? We got something
Goodness.
for you. The Singer's a good-looking car. I like that one better. I would take one of those. If somebody offered me that, I mean, money aside, if they were worth the same amount of money, I would take the Singer. I like the vintage 911 look. Vintage. 92, 93.
Well, the 964s, I like the update on the 60s theme.
Mm-hmm.
And those keep on being this kind of the mid spot of vintage 911s. That it still looks very much the part. But those are quickly becoming unobtainium.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to drive a few of those when I valeted at the Greensboro Airport back in the day.
Yeah.
There was some cool stuff coming through there back in the day. I should have taken better notes.
I would think so.
My favorite remains the gray market 80s M5 with kidney bruising suspension.
Yeah, but the looks.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's what one of these looks without diving boards fore and aft.
Well, Steve, before we get started on our topics that are going to be a surprise for you,
Or do a refill.
we need a refill. I want that Kentucky Bourbon Barrel vanilla.
Okay.
What are you getting?
I'm going to step it down a notch and get the Slightly Mighty IPA. That
the
other fish dog.
I might do the other fish dog later, but I'm in the mood for something sweet after something that hoppy.
Interesting.
And something... Well, actually, you know what? The whiskey, after drinking the Dogfish Head, the whiskey tasted
surprisingly
really sweet.
Surprisingly works really well.
Yeah, it really does. It's, you know... I wouldn't dare to Boilermaker with it, but... I don't. I'm actually off tomorrow. My second person... Yeah, that one. My Bosnian comrade was in a very shitty mood today. But fortunately, I don't live with him, and I'm not married to him, so I don't really have to fucking deal with it when I go home. Oh, Steve's jingling. We're going to break up in that Alma gang one time. I guess we'll have to. It's from 2017 or 2018, so... Might have to do a New Year's podcast. All right. I haven't had this on air for a long, or at all, but we've had the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel on air. Pretty sure. You like the Bourbon Barrel stuff, don't you? Have you ever had this one?
Which one's that?
The vanilla one.
Not the vanilla one.
Holy
I remember seeing
fuck.
I think it's the standard that was impressive.
Mm-hmm. In the interest of safety, try that. I know what that tastes like. So it tastes like cream soda.
Yeah, that'd be real funny to have a blind taste test of that and not your Fridays cream soda. Like, assuming that brand's even still around.
It is.
Like the not your Fridays root beer and whatever else have you.
It's
like,
still around.
Never mind. Cool. Or I could take my own A&W and add whiskey to it.
You don't tell me how to Boilermaker my own drinks.
It's not a Boilermaker when it's already a non-alcoholic thing.
What would they call it?
It's just a mixed drink.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, you could have the effectively the Jack and Coke, like the Jack Daniels Hard Cola. Wink. Yeah. Hi, I can do the same thing and stronger, and will.
You know what's good? Jack and Coke. You know what's not good? Jack and Diet Coke.
Funny because Jim Beam Makers and Diet Coke is my sister and brother-in-law's go-to drink. So, with it being diet, they can drink as much of these as they want. And will.
Yeah,
That's
the
probably why upon
it,
getting back in town Sunday, like, I was not feeling good.
But
good thing I had Monday off for R&R.
Barbecue?
I haven't been there in a while.
They're closed.
Permanently?
Well, the one in Harrisburg is. I'm not sure about Poplar Tent, actually. I don't go to Concord anymore.
I thought the one in Harrisburg moved to Poplar Tent.
No, that was always there.
Okay.
There were two.
Okay.
We used to go there for lunch.
Colin and I went to one in Harrisburg back in the day, but then that became something else a long time ago because they had the $5 chicken dinner thing.
Now it's Harrisburg Family Restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's all old people all the time. Steve, the topic I wanted to do today, and I'm surprised we haven't done it after 75 episodes, we'll do it in 76, is supergroups.
Hey.
There are, after a little research, there's quite a few more than I remember.
There's them Crooked Vultures and everybody else.
No. Oh, you didn't do it in the mic. Doesn't count. Right. Seal it again. So, yes, there is them Crooked Vultures, who is what group of people?
Effectively, Foo Fighters meets Queens of the Stone Age meets Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
So it was Dave Grohl, Josh Homme, and John Paul Jones from Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm. No. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, John Paul Jones is the bassist. You also have, we'll go through the extensive list, but Audioslave is definitely supergroup. Chris Cornell and Rage Against the Machine, Brad Wilk, Tom Morello, and Timmy Comerford, Tim Bob, whatever he went by that. He went by that for a little while. But also you had Prophets of Rage, which I haven't heard any of.
Now it sounds more like Rage Against the Machine.
Okay, because it's Chuck D and Serge Tankian, right? Or is it just Chuck D? Serge Tankian's in... So I think Serge Tankian's in Prophets of Rage. I wouldn't put, any money on it, but I think they are. Remind me to tell you something very funny after this episode and after we've turned turn this off. Oh shit! I forgot to charge a goddamn phone. Look it up.
Hey, are you still online?
Yes.
Well, apparently the first on Wikipedia's list was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons in 1960.
Jeez. But I was I think I'm very certain Serge Tankian was in Prophets of Rage. I would do the Google, on the phone, but I have it right here. So let's see. Prophets of Rage. Well, there's Rage. Cypress, Be Real. Okay, yeah. Chuck D. Be Real. Timmy Comerford. No, I guess he wasn't in there. Unfuck the World. that's a great one. Maybe he was I think he did a concert. The thing System of a Down, like they opened for System of a Down, and like he came on stage and did a show with them. I fucking digress. Okay, you had Army of Anyone. Do you remember that one?
In name only.
It's STP's band with Richard Patrick from Filter.
Okay, I was gonna say Filter, but didn't recall anything else.
But from all accounts, I'm really sad that this is true, but everybody that I've read has said Richard Patrick's a giant bag of dicks in person. So he didn't even write, "Hey man, nice shot." I think the guitar player wrote it. Without looking it up, we have... I'll look it up. Traveling Wilburys. That was a supergroup. Do you remember who was in the Traveling Wilburys?
Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, George Harrison.
3. One will be fairly obvious. The other one, probably not so much.
I did what I could.
Bob Dylan and Jeff Lynne from ELO. They were definitely... There was Bill Maher had a joke about it's like Strom Thurmond or... Oh, the traveling... Strom Thurmond's so old that the Traveling Wilburys made him sit at the kids' table or something. The Traveling Wilburys are so old they made Strom Thurmond sit at the kids' table. Whatever. Cream. Cream is a supergroup.
A lot of those popping up from back in the day, like as well as Led Zeppelin, because Yardbirds.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Clapton was in the Yardbirds.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, because if you don't have Neil Young, I'm like, come on.
David Crosby's a big bag of dicks too, and kind of looks like a walrus with a mustache.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
The Highwaymen. Do you remember the Highwaymen? I do, actually. My dad would listen to them. Yes, country.
Okay.
I know you can name 3 out of 4 of these.
Waylon Jennings.
1. Biggest names in country music.
Hank Jr.
The biggest good names in country.
Jerry Reed. The only name you need. Him and Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. Yeah, Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash. Who plays a guitar named Trigger? Beat up ass old acoustic guitar. Looks like my dad.
Merle Haggard.
Willie Nelson. And Chris Christopherson.
The guy from Blade.
Have you seen that you don't use Blade to open package, and it has a DVD where they're opening the package with Blade?
ABBA was a supergroup. Because they were from
Sweden?
Hootenanny Singers, the Hep Stars, and
Hootenanny Singers.
And Annie Fried Lingstad.
Steve, what is the difference? What's the difference between a hootenanny and a hoedown? This is not a punchline or a joke.
Perspective.
Fair. Bad Company was a supergroup.
As was Journey.
But
let's see, because you've got people from Santana, Frumious Bandersnatch, Steve Miller Band, Free, and Mott the Hoople.
Yeah, I saw the Mott the Hoople was in Bad Company, but wait, I thought everybody in the Steve Miller Band was named Steve Miller. Is that not right?
He was one of the President's Men that's in big, big trouble now, too. Man, I got so sick of Fly Like an Eagle.
I always change it to Fly Like a Beagle. Go away. Not you.
Little River Band, brought to you by Drought.
What about... Good thing it's not the Green River Band. That was a killer album. Derek and the Dominoes. Yardbirds again. Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton's in every band.
Yep.
With Dwayne Allman? Interesting.
Well, because the Allman... No, it was Leonard Skinner when everybody died. Never mind.
Blind Fate.
Apparently, speaking of bag of dicks, the Allman Brothers.
Blind Fate. Eric Clapton again with Ginger Baker.
Who's also another one. I need to watch the documentary... something about Mr. Baker, about his musicianship and unpleasantness through the years.
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys in Cream just like
And
from all accounts,
also,
Eric Clapton's actually a nice guy.
yeah, he
but
seems it. Toto. Speaking of a band made of session musicians that have been incredibly difficult for Christian Hand to get the tracks of to dissect some of their songs.
yeah,
Because I really want to hear a breakdown of Africa. And I guess Rosanna too.
Rick Beato did Rosanna, and it's great because he plays the solo.
He does all of those stunts though, so there is that.
I think CGH. You're gonna
because you would have seen him on. I think it was his last appearance or next last appearance on TST that he was talking about. Like someone chimed in saying, like the difference between what he's doing and Beato.
Yeah. And
he's just like, Beato can play the stuff. Like, I can play you the sound clips and, like, talk about how amazing this is, but he's able to play this on the guitar and tell you, like, how Lydian this is. Like, is his wife Lydia, too? Like, who was Lydia? I had a neighbor named that, and she fell off the planet. Whatever.
My introduction to that name was Winona Ryder's character in Beetlejuice, which was my introduction to being really hot for goth chicks. And it's still to this day. CJH, it would appeal more to you, whereas Beato kind of appeals more to me. So they both have their place. I just have not listened to one CJH breakdown.
I can help you with that.
I can help you with some Beato, too. The Toto breakdown is actually great.
I've got them both on the Cars flash drive, so nice. Yeah, it's just... Too bad all I'm doing is streaming the same podcasts again and again. It's like, all right, it's new Farrison, new Farrah, new Farrison, new Farrah. With their powers combined, they're Farriston.
Well, I have a show Friday night, and I haven't picked a guitar up in 10 days, so...
Oh, my.
Well, something, muscle memory. Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Blizzard of Oz.
What?
Apparently, prior to Ozzy going completely solo post Black Sabbath, he had a release under Blizzard of Oz.
Interesting.
Which was him and Randy Rhoads, Bob Daisley, and Lee
Fuffle.
Kerslake? Kerslake?
Yeah,
so, from Black Sabbath, Quiet Riot, Rainbow, and Uriah Heep.
The Dirty Mac.
That's impressive.
Yes, the Dirty Mac is impressive.
I think he needs a bath and a stick shift.
John Lennon, Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, and Mitch Mitchell from the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Goodness.
What the fuck?
I'm going to have a lot of fun on Spotify later, and I can finally hit 13,000 bands on my last FM.
Fuck yes.
Have I talked about my progress on that, which is funny when it just leaves something playing all the time? In the course of 10 years, at the time it had, I think, hit about 600,000 plays and over 12,000 artists.
That's amazing.
And now it's at 616,000 plays and 12,700 artists.
Jesus Christ.
Which is just kind of a matter of, leaving a Raspberry Pi playing like the same 6 bands all the time. So it's been very Van Halen and NoFX heavy lately because they go together. And just doing whatever I can on Spotify to discover more stuff. I built my sister a playlist.
Oh?
It was like, because I was just curious, like, so what do you listen to nowadays? Like, I'm so embarrassed to say, like, it's like Miley Cyrus and Harry Styles. Like, I can help you.
Miley Styles.
It actually has a really nice ring to it.
Harry Cyrus, though, sounds like a medical condition.
You might want to get it looked up, as well as your Fuquay Farina.
That always bothered me.
It is the fastest growing town in the state. Like, well, this is back when I lived in Raleigh. I made this joke. My Fuquay Farina is flaring up.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with Fuquay Farina, you may be entitled to compensation.
It's already too late.
To whip it?
Whip it well. Thank you very much.
Spank it well.
Devo's so bad at this. That said, I am enjoying the song Uncontrollable Urge way more than Whip It. Except for that, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds very Talking Heads at the same time.
Well, it's unfortunate that some songs are really good, and you hear other parts of that song, and you're like, God damn it, why'd they put that? The Memory Remains from Metallica is the same way. It's like, I love the song, and then you hear that at the end, like,
Eddie Money, Take Me Home Tonight. Feel a little baby. No, not now, Ronnie.
Who is that?
Ronnie from...
That's a dude?
Short for Veronica.
It's a chick?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Temple of the Dog.
Natch.
It's a supergroup.
Asia.
Huh. I can't. Give me some songs from Asia, not the fucking continent, the band. Like, what are they? I can't think of one Asia song. Without looking it up.
Me neither, because that was a punchline on Family Guy. It's like, hey, it's that one song I know of theirs, and I can't even think of that one. Next on AJ and Steve Look Stuff Up. Yay! Asia.
I was thinking of Air Supply. I was thinking Lost in Love.
You're all out of love. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
It was the heat of the moment.
Oh, that was them too?
That was them.
Oh, Jesus. Well, who did the that? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yep.
And I don't know what to look up because I don't know any of the words. And I'm not going to go, hey, Google, play.
Yeah, hey, Shazam, do this. Have you watched the show Beat Shazam at all?
No.
It's fun. Jamie Foxx hosts a Name That Tune, and the idea is that whoever can name the song as quickly as possible wins the money and then goes to the next round and then ultimately has a chance to, make crazy money.
Interesting.
And much like playing Wheel of Jeopardy or The Weakest Link, I'm pretty decent at playing a round of Yell at the TV because me watching quiz shows is Kalen's greatest form of entertainment right now. That's that thing was sung in the band, or even better, if I can get the same wrong answer as somebody on screen.
Like both of us were equally
wrong. I was like, well, I got no stakes at this, and I'll have another glass of wine. Thank you very much.
Well, unfortunately, we can't yell at Trebek anymore.
He's an easier target nowadays. What are you talking about?
That's fair.
Did you hear Ken Jennings is going to be an interim host? Because that's no surprise.
It makes sense.
That was my immediate thought of that, which is odd because I also saw that'll start late January. Prior to in December, this month, he's going to be hosting Masterminds. Guess what Trebek hosted prior to hosting Jeopardy in 1984?
Nope.
Kenny's going to need a better mustache. I don't care what Trebek did years ago. He's always going to be mustachioed Trebek to me.
Yeah.
Say rubbing your mustache or your nose itches.
Yeah, that's my nose.
Yeah, I'm gonna start giving my mustache the 10 stroke. What do you think?
Well, my mustache goes sometimes it goes up, and then when I put my mask on, it pushes my nose up my nose, and I sneeze all fucking day. It's like bearded man problems, I guess. First world beard problems.
Pretty much.
Beard world problems.
Beard world problems.
Foo Fighters are a supergroup. Technically, Dave Grohl from Nirvana. Pat Smear from the Germs. Nate Mendel from Sunny Day Real Estate. Taylor Hawkins from Alanis Morissette's band.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean...
They're monsters, man.
Pat Smear is actually a pretty underrated guitar player. And he always has that same smirk on his face.
Same goofy look. It's
time.
Always so funny. Like,
you and I have never talked about that either. Like,
no.
What we just said, he always has that goofy fucking look on his face.
You never saw the second Pierce Brosnan Bond movie, Tomorrow Never Dies?
Mm-mm. Halle Berry?
Yeah. No. This one had...
You sure?
That was the fourth one. That movie's such garbage. That was Die Another Day. Okay. Tomorrow Never Dies is 1997 with Terry Hatcher as Bond girl, where basically Pierce Brosnan is up against Steve Jobs, except this time he's running a newspaper and trying to create world events so he can like corner the news market, because newspapers are still a thing in 1997.
Oh, yeah.
More importantly, Jonathan Pryce, the bad guy in it,
Mm-hmm.
has that same look. And I only today put that together. That is just that same goofy, menacing grin.
He's up to something.
Yes.
Well,
He's going to control all the news outlets in China, too. All in a black turtleneck, oddly enough. Like, this is the year before Steve Jobs returns to Apple and unleashes upon us the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, and the eye cancer. Actually, it's pancreatic cancer. Which also made one...
As by now.
By 9 years? Cancer's not even a virus.
It is now. Well, never mind. Velvet Revolver.
Natch.
By the way, have you ever heard the stories of Velvet Revolver?
No. It was effectively Scott Weiland and
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses minus Axl.
Evidently, Duff McKagan played in a band called The Farts, but it was with a Z at the end. The Farts. Scott Weiland showed up 12 hours late.
So he really is in the spirit of Axl with that.
12 hours. And when he showed up, he just nailed it. And they were like, all right, God damn it, we got to fucking another one. That was not a bad album.
Was that a one and done?
They had two. They had Libertad and then whatever the fucking first one was. But Slither was great. I loved Slither. Fall to Pieces was actually a good ballad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the way, have you seen Miles Kennedy do that with the Conspirators with Slash? He does Fall to Pieces even, but it's so fucking good. It was a good album. Like, it really fucking was, man. The Honey Drippers. Robert Plant, Jeff Beck, and Nile Rodgers.
Goodness. I was looking up Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, because Nick Cave with the Birthday Party, which is the best thing you're not listening to. Mick Harvey, don't place that. Bixa Bargeld, Einstürzende Neubauten, because you do.
What?
Barry Adamson, Magazine the Band, pretty fantastic album there. Hugo Reyes, The Rectory, don't know that. And Thomas Wilder, Die Haute, don't know that. Power Station, it's half Duran Duran. There's a band called GTR, but it's from 1985. During which
there was
also
a GTR.
There's this. It got more interesting the more time that passed. Versus Mike and the Mechanics, Genesis.
Yes, the Raconteurs.
One of Jack White's many endeavors. And if you listen to a bunch of his stuff back to back, you don't know which is which.
No.
Just like if you listen to Phil Collins' Genesis and Phil Collins' solo back to back, you're going to have a tough time. Or if you listen to Queen of Stone Age or his efforts with Them Crooked Vultures.
Yeah. What about Chickenfoot?
Sammy Hagar and
Joe Satriani. That's a supergroup. And there's a couple other people. But I've never heard of The Damned Things, but...
Versus the band The Damned, what's the weirdest thing that exists?
Well, The Damned Things is members of, and I could not possibly make this up, Anthrax, Volbeat, Fall Out Boy, and Every Time I Die.
I like the Anthrax part. Anthrax is one of my favorite cover bands.
Evidently.
Short of yours.
Oh, thanks. Evidently, Volbeat's actually pretty good, but I never got to see him live because the show got canceled because of rain. Volbeat opened for Soundgarden.
If you're worried about your electric guitars, play acoustic, man.
They didn't cancel. It was the promoters.
They aren't even the ones doing the work.
The Neurotic Outsiders. That actually sounds fantastic.
Oh, hello, me.
Duff McKagan, Matt Sorum, and John Taylor from Duran Duran.
Bad English was a supergroup.
Oh, here we go. Michael Anthony on bass and of Chickenfoot. So Michael Anthony was on bass, and Chad Smith from Chili Peppers was on drums and Chicken Foot. So that actually is a supergroup.
Sure enough.
I haven't heard any Chicken Foot songs.
Me neither. I'm just aware of that being a thing, and I have a feeling I may like them. Mr. Big wants to be with you, and they are a supergroup with people from UFO and DLR's solo act, Belinda Carlisle of the Go-Go's, and Poison Work.
Belinda Carlisle had a song, a very big song. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, because CGH did one of them, and I was wondering, who's this? Why does she sound like Stevie Nicks?
Steve, I cannot believe we forgot Mad Season.
Numerically, I'm not even the 90s, or annually, I'm in 1989 now.
Oh, you're on yearly. Okay.
Yeah, mine's yearly. That's why this is going the way it does.
Okay. What page are you on?
Wikipedia.
God damn it.
Yeah. Can Damn Yankees take you high enough?
Without fucking crazy ass Ted Nugent.
First build, as well as Tommy Shaw from Styx, Jack Blades, awesome name, from Night Ranger.
That is a great name.
And Michael Cartellone, later of Leonard Skinner. Like, well, obviously not earlier, or he'd be dead. Ringo Starr and his all-star band, nuff said.
Yeah.
The Breeders, with Pixies and somebody from The Perfect Disaster.
That's a good name.
Don Dawkins backing band. Obviously, Dokken, Europe, Watchtower, except King Diamond and Motorhead people.
King Head.
Interesting.
Motor Diamond?
King Head sounds better. I'm sure Eric will agree. What? Temple of the Dog popping up 89 there with the Everybody. The Three Tenors. Oddly enough, I had that on Laserdisc. Placido Domingo, Jose Carreras, and Luciano Pavarotti. Is that going to be your...
Luciano.
Yeah, him too. There's not an H in that. Fuck you, Italian.
Well, shit, like, Samir's last name is C's, but it's Chuturich. The C makes a ch sound in Slavic language.
That thing that Richard Hammond crashed is a Ramatz,
Yeah.
not a Ramak.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You ever
work with me here, guys. Like, make it a CZ. Come on.
Do you ever linguistically bite off more than you can chew?
Maybe it's for better I didn't take Russian in high school, because taking German was entertaining to see how different little things pop up along the way. Like, of course, you're used to the W's as V's.
Right.
A Z is more of a TS sound.
Mm-hmm.
A Y takes on more of a WU sound.
Mm-hmm.
And the umlauts are effectively AE, OE, or UE, and it's just a different to make that noise happen. Whereas something called an EZ that looks like a B, but you don't connect the lines together,
right?
Is effectively two S's, but they can't use the two S's together because, the 40s.
Yeah.
Which is why any Chevrolet Supersport sold in Europe will be fully branded Super Sport the words.
Mm-hmm. Can't blame them. There's a Russian lady who shops at our store a lot, and she's very, very sweet. One of her daughters used to work at our store, and hello, nurse. And her husband was in there, and she had said thank you, and I said spasibo drug, which is thank you, friend. And he looked at me, and then he went, and I went, that's all I know, man.
Me no habla Rosiano, por favor.
He laughed. He laughed. He said, I didn't think so.
All right.
I was trying to show off. And
you Telerush and Spazzy you very much.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
Spasibo. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. He just went to fucking town on that.
That's incredible.
He had, he bought the ticket and he was getting on that ride.
He took you on that ride. He dragged you on that ride.
Yeah.
Pigface. So this is going to be people from Public Image Limited, Ministry, Killing Joke, Murder Inc., KMFDM, REM, Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy, Ogre, spelled OHGR, The Tear Garden, Doubting Thomas, and Tool.
Oh, Jesus. What year was this?
90. Oh, dear, there's more people. Inesh of Slick Idiot, Throbbing Gristle, Psychic TV, Big Black, Shellac, Flea of RHCP, Damage
Gristle.
Manual, Tweaker, Marilyn Manson, like probably before Marilyn Manson had even taken the helm, but Chris Vrenna. Wow, that
You know the guitar player was for Marilyn Manson, don't you?
Twiggy Ramirez.
That's bass. John Five, who played with Rob Zombie later.
Oh, like the robot from one of my favorite movies growing up.
That's Johnny Five.
Close enough.
John Five is one of the best guitar players. He was sitting there. He was doing chicken picking country music with Chet Atkins, and ding 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 ding. He's a phenomenal
High
guitar
five,
player.
your Mike.
Yes.
Who are you, me?
Nice to meet you, me. I'm on the Wikipedia right now too. I didn't see that in 1990.
So that was
I saw the GAC.
Yeah, so that was Pigface with all that bunch of nonsense, followed by the Texas Tornadoes, awesome name. The 213, Snoop Dogg, Warren G, Nate Dogg. What up?
Nice. Yeah, I'm on a different I'm on a list of musical groups, supergroups.
Okay, mine's numerical, annual. 1991 was down, so apparently that's how early Anselmo started down after having joined Pantera in 88.
I have 1990 with the GAC. This group played 2 charity concerts. It was Sebastian Bach, James Hetfield, Duff McKagan, Axl Rose, Slash, and Lars.
Goodness.
How many egos can we fit in one
That
show?
we're gonna need a bigger Mazda 5.
Jesus Christ.
That was the other cheap car challenge, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Was an 08 maroon 5-speed Mazda 5 in Greensboro with roof rack.
Nice.
But I like the look of those early ones so much better. Like, it doesn't have the Joker grin, and it has the D-pillar column lights, like an old Volvo wagon.
Mm-hmm. Probot. I forgot about Probot.
That was, what, Lemmy and whoever else?
No, it was Dave Grohl and everybody else. It was Dave Grohl with... it wasn't all the same song, but he had different...
Yeah.
On different tracks. So it was Dave Grohl, but with Kim Thile, Kronos from Venom, Max Cavalera from Sepultura and Soulfly, Lemmy, Kurt Brecht from DRI, I don't know who that is, Lee Dorian from...
Dirty, Rotten Imbeciles.
Okay.
It's old school punk.
Lee Dorian from Cathedral and Napalm Death, Kronos from... I said Kronos from Venom already. Mike Dean from COC, Corrosions of Conformity, probably.
I was just waiting for the K.
Corrosions of Conformity, yeah. St. Vitus, have you ever heard of them?
No, probably Vitus, and that's probably metal.
Tom G. Warrior from Celtic Frost. King Diamond. Fuck yes.
That's one of my favorite scenes from Clerks 2.
Oh, yeah. Any scene with Rosario Dawson was my favorite.
Also, yes. Yeah, King Diamond is my favorite Kiss. Slash's Snake Pit is probably one of the earliest supergroups I was aware of.
I haven't heard any of this stuff, but heard of them.
Yeah. With Slash of GNR, dudes from More GNR, The Cult, Alice in Chains, Ozzy Osbourne, Jellyfish, Pride and Glory, White Lion. And yet another thing that Slash's Blues Ball, har har har.
That
Alice Cooper, Venice, Big Bang Babies, Warrant, and Rat. Goodness.
Well, technically, Alter Bridge is because it's Creed with Miles Kennedy.
So it's like less irritating Creed.
Miles Kennedy's so much better than Scott Stapp. Like, yeah.
Because how badly was he trying to be Eddie Vedder?
I don't. All right. So here's the thing. All right, as a singer, I will say this. Like, I don't know if you can help if you sound like somebody. Yet I think other people, it kind of sounds like you're trying to sound like. So Chevelle, a lot of people say he kind of sounds like Maynard. He has that, but
Yeah.
that sounds like his normal singing. It doesn't sound like he's trying to do that.
One of the modern acts that gets heavily criticized for sounding like somebody way earlier, Greta Van Fleet for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It totally works, though.
Well,
I like what they're doing, and it's three brothers from Detroit.
No,
not brothers in the sense of the band Death. That's a completely different spin on the everything. That's
right.
basically if Jimi Hendrix played harder.
When people ask me what I sound like, I want you to give me your honest opinion. Here's what I tell them. Like, if they know music, when they say, what's your singing voice like? I'm like, if you were to mix Scott Weiland and Jerry Cantrell, that's what I sound like.
Yes.
It's not too high. It's not, I can go low, but that's not my natural singing voice. But it's kind of like that rough, but in tune sort of thing. I think that's pretty accurate.
That totally works.
Okay.
Like, couldn't put a finger on it, but that seems accurate.
I think so too. I don't have a super duper high range, but I will always sing it in pitch.
Well, I sing like an amputee.
But you don't have to live like an amputee. Tom Petty said so. Wait.
Can't hold a note. Can't carry a tune. To completely steal a joke from the Bloodhound Gang 25 years ago.
Oh, they're so great. Are they still active?
I don't know. Their last album was in 2005, and it was mostly not good.
How not good? Like not good, or not good, just not as entertaining?
The antics aren't there. The best thing they had going was a song of Ralph Wiggum quotes that if you're not watching along on the YouTube video, it's less fun.
Understood.
The rest of it's just
I found what you were looking at. What year are you up to?
94, because, hey, here's Mad Season and Foo Fighters and stuff we've heard of.
Yes. Voodoo Cult's actually a really good name. Jesus Killing Machine was their first album. And then you had Boot Camp.
What's up, Rome?
You had Boot Camp, Mad Season, Bloodline, the Black Beat Band. Is that what you're looking at?
Yep. Don't know that at all. So that got browsed over to make way for 1995.
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Yes. The best, like one of the best cover bands ever, because it's all upbeat punk rock covers of popular songs.
Mm-hmm. Albums: Have a Ball, Are a Drag, Blow in the Wind, Take a Break, Ruin Johnny's Bar Mitzvah.
Love Their Country's funny because then they punkify country songs.
That's amazing. We'll call it Puntry. I'd get a kick out of that. Cork. As long as it have Corky Romano in it, I guess I'm in. Oh, there's the Neurotic Outsiders.
Which is Sex Pistols, GNR, Farts, Duran Duran, and The Cult. Just easier to say bands instead of people. Sorry, people.
What about the Fart Cult Pistols?
I'm gonna turn that one way low and call that Silent but Deadly.
That's fair. Describe your sex life with a movie title. Mine was Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. What would yours be?
Get Out. Left Out. I don't know.
Staves Acre and Buena Vista Social Club. Jesus Christ! Like That's a lot of fucking people.
Like,
And everybody is of Latin descent.
That's the. If I recall correctly, that's one of the best things you've never heard.
Oh,
It's going to sound exactly the way you think it would. You'll want some Mexican food thereafter. Oh, wait.
oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I already do, so that won't cancel it out, will it?
No, that's not how this works.
Okay, good. There's yet another.
Bunch of stuff I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that either. Deep Space 5. Play-Doh? There's a guy named Play-Doh?
No,
There's a guy.
that's not.
Oh,
ringing the
LSG?
bell.
I remember LSG. Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, Johnny Gill from New Edition. Yeah, LSG had actually a couple of good R&B songs. Remember, I played basketball in AAU and high school for many years, so I had to listen to. But there was a lot of good R&B stuff. But the thing is, there's no R&B now.
And that's from the good era of R&B or the extant era of R&B.
That Jagged Edge, 112, Blackstreet, like they actually had those some good.
All right.
Oh, Blackstreet, but I didn't say they were back.
Getting my wires crossed.
Oh yeah. Wow, Fantomas.
One of Mike Patton's many things, and
Jesus,
I couldn't name one song.
Buzz
but
Osborne.
I think
from
I've got a
Melvins.
copy of Director's Cut.
Dave Lombardo is a fantastic drummer. He's the best drummer Slayer ever had.
Now, my favorite Mike Patton effort was the unfortunately named Peeping Tom.
You didn't like
And
Mr.
that was-
Bungle?
Only California. Like, all the earlier stuff is too weird. California is fantastic.
I haven't heard California.
Well, you've not been a Patton head, but out of like the everything, listen to California.
Okay.
Like, let's skip everything else. Just listen to that album.
It's the album. California's the
and
album.
Peeping Tom. Yeah,
Okay.
It was 99 because this was a year after Faith No More broke up for 17 years.
Are they active now?
Is anybody?
That's fair. Oh, Perfect Circle.
Bloodbath. That's mental.
I went ahead of you.
I'm a robot. Avantasia.
I'll wait for you.
Bruderschaft. Dark Lotus. Broken Social Scene. Something Canadian.
Dream Evil actually sounds really cool.
That is. Well, it's named for a Dio song that's fantastic.
Well, Gus G played guitar for Ozzy. So this is Firewind, but Gus G played guitar for Ozzy. I think after Zakk Wylde. Zakk Wylde was 19 years old when he played guitar for Ozzy.
Well, he died at what, 23? Like, he died
Who?
really. Shit, I'm getting him confused with Randy Rhoads. No.
Oh Jesus!
No.
Sorry, Sabbath Head. Like, don't come and kill us. Or he didn't play for Sabbath.
What
he
we
played for
mess
Ozzy.
up? Yeah, it's Ozzy and stuff and things.
Yeah, but Randy Rhoads played guitar for somebody before. It was.
It was even on there earlier. It was like Ozzy, like immediately post Sabbath, before Ozzy did his thing with the Blizzard of Oz band, and who knows what else.
He died in a plane crash, didn't he? Quiet Riot. He played for Quiet Riot.
Come on, feel the noise.
Who did that cover?
All you girls and boys.
He was 26
Don't
when he
know.
died. Man,
He was a year away from being 27 clubbed.
motherfucker. We got to go back. Kill him later.
Yes.
He looked older than 26 in these pictures, though.
He partied harder, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah. You know, great guitar player. Him and Dime both. Their guitar tone was shit. All they did was scoop the mids completely out. It was just all high and all low. There was just no body. Now, granted, I have the Mesa like that, but the Mesa amps are really mid-focused. So by scooping it out a little bit, you get sort of a better sound. I digress.
Do what you gotta. I remember looking up Rebel Meets Rebel during my Pantera phase. Like, oh, this is David Allan Coe pay no attention to half of his catalog, wink, combined with Dimebag, Rex Brown, and Vinnie Paul of Pantera and Co.
Well, I loved In Living Color. Oh, that's David Alan Grier. Yeah. Actually, Perfect Circle, James Iha from Smashing Pumpkins is in that. But also Billy Howerdell was actually Billy Howerdell was actually a really, really, really good guitar player. You skipped ahead of me a little bit, but
jumping until anything looks familiar.
Well, you don't have the Silk Road Ensemble with Yo-Yo Ma and Joseph Gramley in your tape
go ahead
deck?
And jump ahead to Audio Slave, and I think except for one, I'm out of tape decks.
Do they actually still sell cassette tapes?
It is possible to find them between a Walmart and a Rose's. Yes, you can.
Brand new,
yeah.
Jesus.
Jonah Ray of previous Nerdist and or ID10T now podcast co-host fame said, "Well, a lot of shitty cars out there, bro." It's like some bands are even selling new music on cassette.
Oh my god.
For shits and giggles, I picked up off of eBay a computer cassette player. It promptly ate a tape, and I cannot get it out. It's fair. It was $10, and the tape was $3 in Atlanta. It's well, now I have a neon green cassette stuck in this beige and purple cassette player, the same size as the one of the CD drives in your computer.
Yeah,
it's that sort of thing, but it arrived without any of the hardware to make the mechanism talk to the computer. It was just a drive, and apparently, one fully functional goes for $100. I'm okay with this bit of weird case art. Kaylin's uncle was baffled. You have a cassette player in your computer? Yeah, for what it's worth, I did want a 5 1/4 floppy drive. Those are really expensive.
Yes, they are.
This wasn't. And you've never seen anything like this. And you never will again.
You should have kept the Laserdisc and just had an obscure collection of weird shit.
I figured it was a fine time to get rid of that when it still worked.
That's fair.
Which is real funny that I managed to sell the Laserdisc and then Laserdisc player about a week apart from itself to the same guy.
Did he know it at first?
Oh, he knew very well I had the everything. It's would you sell me just the player? Sure. All right. Yeah, it seems to work with this Jurassic Park, not an LP that my brother thought it was, that apparently his brother had tried to play a Laserdisc as a record. That doesn't work that way.
Does once.
At least, maybe the other side wasn't messed up. So, yeah, I think I managed to get $50 out of him for the everything, since I think I picked up the player for $20 at the Habitat Restore in Cornelius because, go to the nice side of town, your sister, and the Goodwill raids or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Laserdisc brand new at the time in the early 90s.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was possible to have home hi-fi. However, it was very expensive, very obscure, and very inconvenient that you had this, foot-wide disc that looks like a giant CD. It's heavy, and you can only get about 60 minutes of video on it. So if you want to watch Titanic, you need to flip or swap your movie 7 times over.
Yeah. I do remember them being very cool, and I do remember the picture being quite nice on it.
Yeah, this was the best they could do at the time.
What was the P rating on that?
I think that would have been early 480, if they were even measuring it as such. But it was the best standard def at the time. And then a DVD came and did the same thing, better, cheaper, and smaller. Mm-hmm. And by about 2001, they're completely done.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get to now where, it's going to be so realistic. It's going to indiscernible.
Yeah, and it's all streamed.
Yeah.
I've got several boxes of DVDs. I'm never playing again. I've got, stacks upon stacks of CDs I'm never listening to again. And they are worth fuck nothing.
I still listen to CDs. Emily wants yet another DVD for Christmas. I'm like, honey, I'm not buying you a DVD for Christmas. We don't even watch DVDs here. She goes, well, if I could use the. I was like, we could stream everything. We have AT&T now. Like, so,
and if you can't, maybe you get the movie on USB because the Roku can support that.
Yes, it can. So I'm not getting her. I'm going to get her something thoughtful and good. I'm not getting a DVD for her again. Every DVD.
So what's the offending movie?
Frozen or not Frozen? Frozen. The second Frozen.
Frozen.
Refreeze.
Schwarzenegger made a really good cameo in that movie.
Uma Thurman.
Oh my! Poisonous.
I need a refill. You?
Yes.
What do you want?
Surprise me.
You want the better half and split it?
Sure.
In half?
Let's see. What year are we on? 01? Yeah, sure, why not? The Postal Service that recently saw a lot of airplay from my Spotify.
The Postal Service?
The band The Postal Service with Ben Gibbard, who looks like the dude from Up.
The old guy?
Yes. Look him up. It's on the glasses.
Okay.
It is square face and square glasses.
Cute cab for Deathy.
Yeah. And then I guess Jimmy Tamborello was the guy with whom he'd been cavorting. Like they mailed stuff back and forth.
You said cavorting? I thought you said cavorking at first. I was like, that's killer.
It's really difficult to do that over the mail. Like, I need some anthrax. Like, 03, that would have been apt.
Scott Ian.
And that said, John Bush is no Joey Belladonna.
Or other Belladonna.
Stevie Nicks album? Oh, wait, the other one.
Yeah, that
Cheers
one.
That, buddy.
Yeah, you'll
Good
like
tank.
this.
Now, why would you say a thing like that?
That's the better half, Curmudgeon's better half from Founders. Old ale brewed with molasses and maple syrup bourbon barrels.
Ooh.
That's a Total Wine thing, and I think it's like $13 for a 4-pack, but it's fucking...
Josh, my brother-in-law, encountered a $30 6-pack of Rogue Hazelnut.
Wow.
Because somebody really messed up the pricing at the local Walmart.
They did. It's $12 for a 4-pack of this, but it's 12.7%.
I was like, that's so expensive. It's like, it's a very strong beer, it's a very good beer, and it's $3 a bottle. Like, this is cheaper than you could find it in the bar.
Steve, go ahead and tell everybody the date that this was bottled on. I can't believe it's that old.
August 28th, 2018.
But it is an old ale, so...
What makes that?
I have no idea.
Or maybe just, let it sit for 2 years and then sell it.
Maybe.
Like, could have bought this earlier for cheaper than wait.
It is pretty good, though.
That too. What tames an old ale like Curmudgeon? The tender embrace of oak and sweet maple. That's what. The result is Curmudgeon's better half. A harmonious matrimony of our deceptively smooth old ale, brewed with molasses and time spent aging in bourbon barrels that have previously held maple syrup, because all counterparts should be sweet, rich, and utterly delicious.
Mm-hmm. That makes it exponentially more difficult for me to edit that. Okay, yeah. Common practice was to blend green young beer with some portion of this old beer to arrive at a complex woody middle ground.
St. Patrick's is a way off, dude.
Like somebody says that's wet behind the ears, not green behind the ears. They're not Shrek.
If you're green, then you're new. Wet behind the ears, the same diff.
A lack of ways to keep beer cool for a long period of time may have been the starting point of the creation of a quote unquote old ale. Highly attenuated beers did not store well without cooling, but sweet, high-alcohol beer did. Okay, there we go. That's
sounds akin to the origins of IPA, that hops acted as preservative. That, at the time, prior to discovering the Dogfish 90, was something I hated so much I had to look it up. Why does this exist? Well, times changed. The beer didn't.
right. We'll go ahead and read the...
Swan!
Zwan is good, but it looks just kind of like the Smashing Pumpkins had a couple of cameos.
This is very pumpkin heavy.
But the next one is hilarious.
Colonel Claypool's bucket of Bernie brains.
The more I listen to anything Les Claypool's done, the more I go, fuck, that guy's so cool. He did everything he wanted to do, and he did it his way. Like,
I would hope that on this list is my favorite Claypool thing that I've
the Claypool Lennon Delirium.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything.
It is effectively Primus Beatles, because Sean Lennon sounds much like John Lennon on vocals, but it's got all Claypool bass in it. So it's a lovely brain melt. I remember Boxcar Racer, courtesy of my brother, being a big Blink head.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Tom DeLonge, Travis Barker from Blink, and David Kennedy from Over My Dead Body.
So they just swapped out Mark. They just swapped Mark out.
Yeah. Also have Velvets that you spoke of. Mm-hmm. Star One does not ring a bell.
They didn't merge Velvet Revolver and the Melvins and call them the Velvins. I don't know what it would sound like.
Noisy. The Melvins are weird and wonderful, but more the prior.
Mm-hmm.
Brides of Destruction, which was a Nikki Sixx joint.
Jeez, Nikki Sixx is something else.
Uh-huh. Being loud. Please.
Star Pole.
A lot of old school radness.
Who the fuck is Safe Ferris? American ska punk band in Orange County. Of course, they're in Orange County. They were in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. As a reference to the film. Oh no, it's a reference to the film.
Reference to it. Yeah, it's like the film was '86. Like Safe Ferris. Wait, what year are you on?
03.
Okay, I didn't see that in there, but they had one incredible cover, and I don't remember what it was.
We have Ataxia, and Klinghoffer is actually... Did you listen to the Klinghoffer episode on WTF?
Nope.
It was pretty good. He's actually a really, really chill guy. You would probably rather hang out with him than John Frusciante, because Frusciante's a little bit of a space cadet.
The one thing in particular I miss from Old Job was being able to listen to podcasts all the time.
That's fair.
While printing.
Yeah.
I kind of have to keep my ears open so I don't get run over at New Job.
What if you keep one ear open and one ear podcasting?
Earbuds are verboten. It's just, you need to keep an ear out for the everything. Like, make sure car coming towards you, it's headed that way, or if somebody needs to get out of the light box or whatever have you, or Steve, can't get the trunk out of this car today. Fuck you, Fiat.
What kind of...
A 500 convertible.
Ew.
With electric trunk latch, because everything's going electric. It's like, it's Italian and this thing's electronic. Of course it's going to go badly. So I had to fold the seat down and pull it from the emergency glow-in-the-dark latch.
Yep.
Like, all right, well, let's get our picture and then send the diag. Like, fix it.
Yeah.
So it'll be listed for sale with a yet fixed thing. If anybody really needs to get a Fiat 500 convertible. No.
I mean, the 500 Barth would be a hilarious way to drive a washing machine around.
Washing machine's bigger. This would be a washing barrel.
The sound of
That said, I'm currently looking up barrel rings for wedding band.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. Kind of like, this is very you. It's like, yes, it is. So I'm stuck between like that or one with an iridescent shell inlay. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, let's have some fun with this.
Yeah. That sounds great, actually. But the thing is, I work with my hands all the time, so...
Confronted with the same thing, I noticed my sister and brother-in-law having silicon bands. Just like, all right, so... You know it's there, here, there, and everywhere. Yikes! I hate that song.
Yeah.
But something that's much easier to not destroy.
Tungsten with wood in the inside.
Nice. Yeah, I like the idea of tungsten, but should ever your hand be like stuck in something?
Dude,
it's a bit difficult.
I have titanium. Like, everybody said the same thing.
Yeah.
Mine was $99, so.
Sweet.
My fingers swell in the winter because everybody's do. There you go. How light that is. Might as well not even be wearing anything.
Yeah.
A gold one is really heavy.
Yeah. Something periodic table.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get one made of lithium.
Will it play Nirvana if you press a play button?
Satellite jokes for satellite people. How on earth are they still holding on? Barely.
I don't know.
But it's for the better you do not cavort with them. That you can't escape. Like I think Dad finally ditched his satellite radio subscription after the years of at least weekly trips to Greensboro.
Mm-hmm. Every time I accidentally hit the satellite radio button on the Jeep, it, without fail, a couple days later, I'll get try your new Sirius satellite radio. I'm like,
from whom? Like
Sirius.
Like it phones to you, like it's aware of your Jeep?
It's snail mail, but it's phoned to me. They know the owner of the car, and they send a try out Sirius satellite radio. You have a free trial. Every time I accidentally press the button, it happens. Because I accidentally pressed the button. I've accidentally pressed it 3 times now. And a couple days after, I get a mail.
Nope. That's some desperate measures right there. And I don't like it. And I wish I knew which circuit to pull to just deactivate that button. It's like,
short of taking it apart and gluing it where I can't press the button.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, my car does not support silent radio. There's no such thing on it, and it being a fairly dumb head unit, there's no navigation.
Same.
There's no CD player.
Oh, mine has that.
It doesn't bother me at all. It Bluetooths very well. Mm-hmm. It USBs kind of badly.
I don't have Bluetooth or USB. But I do have an aux. And it does work because I've listened to podcasts on it.
Well, now you're finally aware of the magic of the CD MP3 disc that you can put 200 songs on a CD and enjoy yourself for a while. Yeah. Or with the aux in, you could rig it up to a Bluetooth so then you could beam it wirelessly with a bit of effort. Yeah. I've got the componentry to do so if you're so inclined.
It's okay. I got enough to keep me occupied. I've been listening to the same CDs for ever and ever. So,
does your new phone have a headphone jack?
Yeah.
So then you can rig that straight into it?
That's what I do.
Okay.
But it's not a new phone. It's an S8. So it is.
My new phone has a headphone jack. It was real funny demonstrating that over Thanksgiving. Hey guys, check out. Yes, I have a phone from this year that has removable battery and a headphone jack. Jeez. And it's supposed to be waterproof, shockproof, and dustproof.
Jesus Christ.
So where can I go use this thing as a hammer? As Josh is about to go put up lights around the house for a Christmas decorum. It turned out fantastic to frame the roof and lighting. Mm-hmm. He worked very hard for a few days on that, and I just drank a bunch.
Fine by you.
I kept offering to help, and he's like, "No, I'm good." And then one time he wants me to help, like my phone's in the other room charging. could have been that bad. Oh, yeah, 40 minutes later, do you still need me to do a thing? Because the funds are there. Here, enjoy your keychain pocket knife, because I'm broke for Christmas.
Got Queen and Paul Rogers, which I don't really count.
So that would be Queen and Bad Company?
Mm-hmm. Get that? And Angels and Airwaves, which is another...
Wait, what? Like a Queen tribute? What is that?
It was basically, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, it says an album, When Your Heart Stops Beating. No, wait, that was... Never mind. I went to the wrong thing.
I was like,
Return of the Champions, Super Love the Cosmos. Yeah, the only studio album, 14 new tracks written by Brian May, Roger Taylor, and Paul Rogers. Okay, so they had one album. It wasn't just a cover act. That's surprising. I thought it was just a tribute. You got Angels and Airwaves, An Army of Anyone. Oh, Ray Luzier from Korn actually played drums on that. That's interesting. Yeah, but evidently Richard Patrick's just not a nice dude. Dark New Day had one good song, and I really, really liked it. You probably don't remember that song.
Don't remember the band and why this thing zoom in on me. Stop it.
Clint Lowry played with him from Seven Dust.
Yeah.
He was good. Double Drive. I hadn't seen that name in a long time. They're from Atlanta. Stereo Mud. And Stuck Mojo. Corey Lowry. Must be Clint Lowry. Nope. Guitarist and backline vocalist for Seether.
Remember the hilarious name La Coca Nostra.
Nice.
Or hey, remember Hell Yeah?
Oh, fucking stupid fucking band.
It sounded like shitty Pantera.
God damn it, that was a shitty fucking band. And I love Mudvayne, but that I love Pantera too, and that's just garbage. Fucking
did I
band.
tell you the time I took a German exchange student to Mudvayne and he's complaining the show's not heavy enough?
Uh-huh. Black President.
Been there, gonna do that again.
Christian Martucci, Didi Ramone, Goldfinger. I don't remember them. The Circle Jerks. Nice.
Best band you've never heard is The Last Shadow Puppets.
The Last Shadow Puppets?
The Last Shadow Puppets. It's 07.
Was that the last of the Indiana Jones movies?
No, this is way better.
Oh.
Dude from Arctic Monkeys, which their early works are fantastic as well. From Alex Turner, Mouse Cane, Can't Place Him from Rascals, James Ford, Can't Play Him from Simeon Mobile Disco or Simeon. But the edgy understatement is fantastic, and everything you've come to expect. I don't know what to expect. I haven't heard that one.
No.
But that first album of theirs is fantastic.
Neon Horse.
Goodbye, neon horses.
I don't think we're gonna. There's Chicken Foot again.
Okay. Well, Empire's Son is not a Rage.
No.
Fun.
I didn't know that.
Fun. To steal a line from Jenna Ray, listening to that is like watching other people have fun. They are so terrible. They almost make Blue October sound good.
I fucking hate Blue October.
Yeah.
Have to block out thoughts of you so I don't lose my head. I hate the way he sang that song. Bill Maher.
Hate me now. Oh, you bet I do.
Bill Maher had the best of the Fun. He's like, the band Fun has a period at the end of it and once a month.
Don't besmirch women like that.
Yes. Damnocracy.
Fear and the Nervous System.
N-
Major Lazer is
that's great.
batshit and a half.
I feel like that would be a lifted. It would be a lifted 4x4 version of a Mitsubishi Eclipse clone.
All you need is the album Guns Don't Kill People, Lasers Do, with a Z. Mongrel. What's up, dog?
Mongrel.
Damn.
Hi, I'm John McClure. Wait, that's Troy McClure from The Simpsons.
Democracy.
I
Solution
remember that.
45.
That
No,
was on
what?
the band.
No,
It was a show called Supergroup, and and of course Ted Nugent was on there, and he's a fucking basket case.
What was the thing when Kiefer Sutherland was trying to start a band? I Trust You to Kill Me.
Huh.
The dude from 24 tried to make a band, and the only thing that sticks out is like it's him, and the name of the show was I Trust You to Kill Me.
Interesting. Now, every time...
And there's a band called Superband, and cannot help you when it's Lo Tai Yu, Jonathan Lee, Waikin Chow, and Chang Chin Yu.
You missed Slaughterhouse. Oh, Slaughterhouse.
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 Hey, you can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Of Hell, O.V.
A band called WTF.
Duck
with Dead Mouse 5, Tommy Lee, Steve Dutz, and DJ Arrow. It's like, hi, you're now listening to WTF. A year before WTF started,
Yeah.
in the first 17 episodes, Marin was using AC/DC's Down Payment Blues as theme song, and it's like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because I don't have the rights.
Oh,
and then got his own thing that sounded like an acoustic version of it.
To me, it sounds more like an acoustic version of that mixed with Rock Lobster.
I'll allow it. By the way, the worst thing to do at karaoke because that song doesn't end. I was like, all right, this is the first 2 minutes of everything. Hey, that's fun. It's like, oh, here's every sea creature ever and the noise that Fred Schneider thinks it makes. But barkeep, bouncer, do you have a giant hook? Just peel me off the stage now. This sucks.
All right, so for our older listeners and viewers, do you remember the Gong Show when people would get gonged if they were really bad? One time at karaoke at Fox and Hound, a guy was so fucking terrible doing Smells Like Teen Spirit, he stopped it and gonged him and told him to get off the stage. It was so bad.
How and why is that not a thing?
It honestly, you know what it sounded like? It sounded like a mixture of Gilbert Godfrey and Sam Kinison doing the song. It was so bad. The worst parts of those two gentlemen. You're thinking
this. You're not gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it. That's sounding kind of incredible.
Gilbert Kinison.
That said, though, have you heard the band Duck Sauce?
I love dipping them in egg rolls.
Oddly enough,
dipping egg rolls.
It's here's like, all right, Armand Van Helden and A-Track. The one album is Greatest Hits 2010. You don't have an album. It's just Greatest Hits. Like, what are you going to name it? Album of the Year? Who are you, Faith No More? Get off the stage.
The Dead Weather sounds
that.
cool as fuck.
Another
Jack
White joint. And yes, they are.
I still enjoy Fell in Love with a Girl.
Hey, it's them Crooked Vultures finally on the list from 2009, which is real funny when I told a friend of mine who's a teacher, like, yeah, like really enjoying this band, Them Crooked Vultures. And she says, them? Not the Crooked Vultures, it's Them Crooked Vultures.
Just bothered by the grammar.
That reaction was priceless.
You got bothered by the grammar.
Well, it's a t-shirt I use. This is perfect. I did get the lineup right. Way to go, me.
We are the Fallen.
And TCV apparently has another album on the works.
Oh?
Yeah.
I guess I need to hear it.
It's versus the latter Queens of the Stone Age, they do it better.
So Josh Homme plays bass. No, John Paul Jones plays bass. Josh Homme plays drums.
He plays the vocals.
Oh, Josh Homme does the vocals, and Dave Grohl plays the drums.
Yep.
Although Josh Homme plays the drums.
He plays guitar. He's a monster, and he'll beat up fans. So
yes, and camera ladies.
He's got some unflattering things, but doesn't every rock star?
It seems to be. I'm looking through some of these.
Atoms for Peace, new Radiohead with Flea. What?
Killer Be Killed. I like that. Killer Be Killed, not kill or
Killer Be Killed.
From Greg Puciato from the Dillinger Escape Plan, Max Cavalera, Troy Sanderson Mastodon, and Dave Ellich from the Mars Volta. Holy shit!
It's about as crazy as hell as either Black Hippie off ! Broken Bells was totally okay, but that's not my thing. Being Shins and Gnarls Barkley or Danger Doom.
Really?
Might need to get in there to look.
Killer Be Killed. All right, so they have a new song out. Let's investigate this.
But you say Killer Be Killed, and I'm thinking 80s Ministry.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So what?
Yeah. This is... Well, that's an ad, but... I can skip it? Fuck yeah.
I don't want to feel like a champion. I am a champion.
Let's see what Killer Be
Get
Killed
off
sounds...
my YouTube.
With Dillinger Escape Plan... And Max Cavalera... And Mastodon. Okay. That's the guy from Mastodon singing. Actually, it's not bad. I have something to look up tomorrow.
How to Destroy Angels. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, Mary Queen Mandy.
I'm doing rapid fire right now.
Yep.
Teenage Time Killers is a great band name.
Did a bit of that. Wild Flag. We swear it's not Morris Letterkenny. It is.
Letterkenny? What is that?
Best show I've not watched. Canadian awkward comedy. Flying Colors. Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater. Steve Morris of Deep Purple. Adrenaline Mob. More Portnoy. Symphony X. That is going to be very proggy. And John Moyer. Not Meyer. Moyer. Animal USA.
We're going to run into acts we don't know.
Yep.
Which
is funny because we're approaching the present. Skip all of 12. Run the Jewels is probably the best thing you've never heard.
I've never heard it.
It's LP and Killer Mike. This is like the last bastion of good hip hop.
I need to investigate this.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like that one.
I was explaining to my buddy Tevin about good hip hop, and he agrees too. He was born. He shares a birthday with me, but he is 10 years my junior, and we were discussing because he actually likes Tears for Fears a lot. If that tells you, Tevin looks like Questlove in size and color and hair. Like, all right. He's a big fucking guy. He's with this hair about 6'4". So big fucking guy. Just the nicest guy you'll ever meet. I need to get him on the podcast. He would actually be a good guest. I need to get Adam on too.
Yep.
How do you say his last name?
Basischek.
I was right.
It's
exactly how it looks.
It's 11 letters, but it really is easier than you may fear.
Yeah. Well,
he's done his own music show, but it's been like 3 or 4 episodes where he shares with the world some goodies.
Well, what is this, a crossover episode?
It could be.
It could be. I'm out of supergroups I know anything about.
I'm going through this.
Saint Asonia I've heard of, but that's just Adam Gontier from 3 Days Grace singing with The Art of Dying.
I'm amused by the fact that the band is called FFS with Franz Ferdinand.
And the Sparks.
Goodness. Dude.
That's amazing.
Thanks to the podcast Soundography, I heard about Sparks.
Uh-huh.
They've done everything you've never heard of. Like, they've covered so many genres, so it's really strange. Like, all right, they pop up in 5 years ago with Franz Ferdinand to do who knows what. But I guess I need to look that one up, much like a lot of these.
Well, FFS is also the shorthand on the internet for fuck's sake.
Should I have ever gotten a Scion FRS, I don't totally debadge it. I simply cut off the round part and the slash part and make it a Scion FFS.
Yes. As you should.
Never mind. It's like, am I really missing that 60 horsepower and that, like, steep drop into the car? No.
Well, not only that.
I'm still happy with my purchase.
Not only that, but you're missing the horsepower when it was new.
Yeah.
That
a few of those ponies have left the stable.
Your current vehicle would beat the vibe in a drag race, I would bet.
Well, that too.
I wonder which one of our current vehicles would win in a drag race.
I think now's a bad time. That's a better daytime activity and sober time activity. In no particular order.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't remember I think the 0 to 60 time for the Wrangler Unlimited with the stick in two-wheel drive was 7.4.
That sounds way nicer than mine that might have been pushing 10.
Excuse me?
I think that in second gear, the car hits high 50s. Having to do the extra gear change is all the difference.
Huh. Scion, I am 0.
You go do that. I'm going to high-five the mic before I got a sprinkle tinkle.
Well, we could just end it right now because we're over 2 hours.
Fair enough.
All right. Well,
Tacos are calling. That's all well and good. And hey, I got a slow car, and your Jeep may be faster because power.
But wait, Steve 76 is done. As always, mucho fun, and see you in a week or two, just like usual. And maybe with the guest, maybe not.
And who the hell was Phillips 76? No relation to the people that originated the CDs we're not listening to anymore, right?
It was before that he met up with Terrence. Terrence and Phillips 66. Yes. Hey, Steve.
And he's AJ.
And this is our show.
High five, my mic.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Doodles, threedles, 76els.
Go pee.